So let's talk about something really important. The idea that you, and only you, can be the architect of your own ambition. It's about taking back the controls and really building the life you want. And this quote from Winston Churchill, man, it just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures what we're talking about today. See, greatness isn't some gift that falls out of the sky. No, it's something you have to earn. And the cost of admission is taking total, complete responsibility for your life. All right, so that idea of responsibility brings us to our first section, the end of excuses. This is all about dropping the blame game and just taking radical ownership of everything that happens to you. And you can really see the two mindsets laid out here. On one side, you've got the easy path. Blaming your boss, blaming bad luck, blaming your circumstances, whatever. It feels kind of good in the moment, right? But it gets you absolutely nowhere. Then you've got the other side, the responsible path. And this is where the magic happens. It's that powerful, kind of scary realization that you're the one in the driver's seat. Now, look, this is going to sound a little harsh, but it is maybe the most empowering thing you can ever tell yourself. If you're procrastinating, if you're feeling lazy, if you're just not happy with where you are, the very first step is to accept that it's your fault. And why is that so powerful? Well, because if it's your fault, that also means you have the power to fix it. So, okay, once you've accepted that responsibility, what's the next move? This is where you become the architect of your mind. It's all about consciously training your brain to stop taking the easy way out and to choose the productive path instead. You see, our brains, they're literally wired for what's called the path of least resistance. It's an old survival thing, really. Your brain gives you this little hit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical, for doing easy, simple things. And that's exactly why scrolling through social media feels so much better in the moment than, say, reading a difficult book. The key is just recognizing that this internal battle is happening. The goal isn't to pretend that urge isn't there, but to consciously choose the harder, more valuable thing, again and again. And just like we choose our path forward, we also have to choose how we look at the past, because really, it only gives you two things, lessons or regrets. If you just dwell on what went wrong, all you'll have is regret. But if you can analyze it, pull it apart for wisdom, then you get lessons. And here's the crucial part. It is totally okay to make mistakes. Just don't ever make the same mistake twice. This brings us to a really powerful way to stay on that productive path. It's summed up in this idea, this parable of self-reliance. And it's all about focusing only on the things you can actually control. Seriously, just take a second and think about it. How much of your brain power, your mental energy gets wasted worrying about what other people think or about things that are completely 100% out of your control? Most of it is just noise. The real secret to making progress is learning to tune all of that out and just focus on your own lane. There's a classic parable that illustrates this perfectly. So imagine this family of sparrows, and they're nesting in a big wheat field. One day, they hear the farmer say, "I'm going to ask my sons to come harvest the wheat tomorrow." The baby birds start to panic, but the mother sparrow, she's not worried at all. So a few days go by, and guess what? The sons never show up. So the farmer says, "All right, new plan. Tomorrow I'll hire some laborers to get this done." And again, the mother sparrow tells her chicks, "Don't worry about it." Why? Because the work still depends on somebody else. But then comes the moment that changes everything. The farmer gets frustrated and he declares, "You know what? Tomorrow I'm coming out here and I'm going to cut these crops myself." And that is the moment the mother sparrow says, "Okay, now it's time to go." Because the action is no longer dependent on anyone else. It's a guarantee. And that is the huge lesson from that story. Real progress, real work, it only starts when you stop waiting for someone else to show up and do it for you. The hard truth is, nobody is coming to save you. You are the one you've been waiting for. Okay, so if self-reliance is the engine, then what's the fuel? It's perseverance. Let's talk about the 1% mindset, the thing that separates the people who succeed from, well, pretty much everyone else. I mean, this chart really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? A staggering 99% of people either never even get started or they bail the second things get a little bit difficult. It's this tiny, tiny fraction, just 1%, that actually pushes through the hard stuff. That 1%, that is the group that finishes. These are the people who understand that difficulty isn't a stop sign, it's just a required part of the journey. They actually embrace the struggle because they know that's where all the growth actually happens. And they can do that because they get a fundamental truth. Success, it's not a sprint. You can't just go all out for a short burst and expect to win. No, it's a marathon. It's a long game of endurance, of consistency, and just pure mental toughness. Which brings us to our final, and honestly, our most important section, your call to action. Because all this knowledge, all these ideas, they're completely useless if you don't do anything with them. The time is now. I absolutely love this proverb. It is so easy to look back and kick yourself, wishing you had started sooner. But you know what? Regret is a total waste of energy. You cannot change the past, but you have complete, total control over this exact moment. The second best time to start anything is always, always right now. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Forget about yesterday. Forget about 20 years ago. The opportunity is right here, staring you in the face. You are the architect, and the ground is ready. So the only real question left is, what are you going to plant today?